Hello, I'm Edida, and I'm a personal and professional development trainer. And my calling is to empower, to educate, and to transform every individual to leverage on their strengths, their talents, their greatness, and their attitude so that they may be able to perform at their optimum level. And with me here is Anne.
Hi, my name is Annie Nancy Kimwele. I'm the director, Paradise Destinations Limited, Mombasa. I'm a travel consultant. Our work is to get people to release their stress after long working hours, long months of working. We give you a destination which will be favorable for you to go and wind up. We redefine a holiday.
Both of us are in the business of transforming lives through different approaches. And today, we are bringing you a conversation about workplace stress, which is a major hindrance to optimum performance in organizations and individual lives. And specifically, we'll be talking about the end-of-year stress and also making recommendations on how to avoid it or at least how to manage it.
Yes, especially during Christmas time, where we go out of our way, we overexpend. Other stresses are brought by anxiety, especially when it comes to extended family. You have your in-laws, and you don't know how they are going to relate with you. There are those who like you, those who don't like you. It brings that anxiety, which is stress-related. So, I don't know, what is your take, Edida?
I find it very interesting when people go back home. You know, you've been working somewhere and you've been living on your own, like maybe young people, they go back home. If my children came back home, I expect them to be children again. And yet they've been living on their own, under their own terms. That can be stressful for many young adults. Yeah, and yet while we are dealing with all this, Anne, the workplace does not exempt us. There's so much stress and so much pressure that comes up with having to conclude the work plan that we set out to do, to achieve at the beginning of the year. The performance reviews are on, and workers are really under pressure to be able to keep their jobs for next year. There is need to balance work responsibilities at this time of the year with family life. You're the same mother, wife, and woman who needs to get organized for Christmas. But at the same time, you need to put in more hours to be able to conclude the targets for the year. Many colleagues take holiday somewhere before Christmas. By 15th of December, many people are already on holiday mood. They want to be outside of office. They want to be already spending time with families. So many people take on leave, leaving a few individuals to finish and to do the work of everyone, which really puts these individuals under very high pressure. Sometimes the targets of the year, at the beginning of the year, were quite high, probably unrealistic. But at this point is when you are looking at it and thinking, we haven't concluded, we haven't achieved everything we set out to achieve. The financial reviews, probably the finances are not looking good. And individuals to leave office at the end of the year too exhausted to look forward to a productive year. So in Australia, work-related stress is reported to cause more than $10 billion a year. And stress-related employee absence cost the UK more than £3 billion in 2015-2016. So really, this is a real thing. Here in Kenya and in the sub-Saharan Africa, research is limited, and yet we continue to see it. We continue to see stress among the people, among us. You know, the long commutes every morning. You know, like by the time you leave Mtwapa to town, if you are living in Nairobi, you know what that means. If you're living in Kampala, you know what that means. you get to work already stressed.
You'll find there's so much to be done, and maybe most organizations, they have few workforce, and you find out there are those employees who are hands-on, and at the end of the day, they will still carry work home. It becomes so difficult. You are working day and night. By the time you come back in the morning, you did not have enough sleep, and you're still there and continuing the work.
Look here, Anne, we always hear something like workers or employees are bringing their stress to work. And employers assume that people come stressed and then don't perform because they are stressed from outside. But the workplace is becoming actually the main stressor for people at work, but they also carry the workplace stress home. Because it's the same person who has come from work who is coming home to be a mother or to be a father. And they are stressed, so they are not going to relate. And so there is a very thin line. And yet employers look at workplace stress as that which happens, if they pay attention to it at all, they look at it as that stress which is caused from the four walls of the workplace. But the line is thin and thinner. So employers need to redefine workplace stress and the policies that govern it, because work is no longer just what happens at work. And also, workplace stress is not only about the physical things that could happen to someone, the emotional, the psychological things that are happening, challenges that are happening to individuals needs to be paid attention to.
However, there are some certain levels of pressure which actually ignite performance.
Oh yes, that is true.
Yes, because if the employees are reluctant, the performance will just go low. And you have to put some certain level of pressure for them to perform well. But when you realize the pressure is too much, you know when to go low. And you'll see it from the performance and the reactions and the attitude towards the work.
That is true. Employees themselves need to know when the pressure is unbearable and when it is leading now to stress, which could be detrimental to your health and to your performance. You can find that you're feeling fatigued, you don't want to go to work anymore, you have headaches that are constant, migraines. That is stress. And those are just the physical. There are also psychological signs that you alone will be able to feel. You know, you can feel that you're feeling so much anxiety about anything, that depressed, nothing makes you happy. Joy is not part of your world. And then there is pessimism. There are those people who see the world from the negative glass. Whatever you say, whatever you're hoping for, whatever you're anticipating, it's probably not possible. There is probably something that will go wrong. And that can be a psychological effect of stress. Yeah, there's also the being unable to concentrate. You find that you can't concentrate. Or even if you try, you don't really even understand what you're doing. Some of the assignments that you've always done well, some of the things that have always been easy, you find them hard. You find you can't actually put them together the way you always did, or you can't even enjoy them anymore. And those are the psychological signs that people should look out for. And then there are also behavioral signs. You become irritated. Someone asks you for help in the office and you snap at them. And that's probably out of character. You have mood swings, irritability, whether it's at work or at home. That should be an indicator that you're under stress and you should seek help. Yes, you can also find that you're withdrawn. When you are at home, you're on your computer, laptop, phone. When you're at work, you need your desk to be facing a certain angle so that no one can get near you, no one can give you any chit chat. If there are common areas where people go to have tea or to have lunch, you don't want to go there. All these should be indicators for you to see that there is something wrong, and so I should seek help. So Anne, you're someone who operates at a very high productivity level. How do you identify that you're now getting under stress?
Well, I'm a very workaholic person. I enjoy working.
I know that.
But it comes a time when I go into a closure. And that is when I know it's about time I should take a break, even if it's a day or even hours.
So employers should be able to understand the working pattern of their staff, so that when this one particular staff is under pressure, you're able to identify this is a performer, but this particular time they're not performing, or they are having mistakes in their work. The quality of work is not meeting their standard, and so they should take a break. So we are going to look at ways that people should avoid, eliminate, or at least manage stress. But before you know how to eliminate it, you just need to know what stresses you. Unless we identify the very cause of our stress, we cannot manage it. So one way to be able to identify your stressor, either in the workplace or even in your life, is keeping a journal and being able to note down the things that happened to you, the things that stressed you in the day, and how you reacted to them will help you to identify the things that trigger your stress and the way you manage your stress. And then you will be able to work on them. So there are some of the common stressors that have been identified by different researchers, different organizations, and these include bad management practices, heavy workload, tight deadlines, job insecurity, physical work environment, lack of support, role conflict, poor communication, or financial constraints. All these and many more are causes of stress at work.
Yeah, now, how do you overcome this?
There are many ways to overcome this. And actually the answer is it depends. It depends on the individual. It depends on your resilience level. It depends on the way you plan your time and so many things. But the ways that I can recommend is, number one, pace yourself. Pace yourself. Don't wait for November to start running to complete the targets of the year. Pace yourself from January. If we finish all the workload of every month, then we'll find that the stress levels are really managed. Also, communicate. Communicate effectively. Are you able to negotiate and actually say that I am handling this now and it is urgent, so may I handle this tomorrow or in the afternoon? Or, communicate clearly. Be assertive. Be able to say no. That takes away so much stress. Also, it's important to set boundaries. When you set boundaries, you're able to schedule your time and to stick to it. And when you set boundaries and people get to respect your boundaries, then you find that you're really productive in your workplace and you manage your time, and so you will not be stressed. Also, people should try and maintain healthy and active workplace relationships. Workplaces where the employees are friends with each other are really productive because you look forward to going to work. You want to go there. You want to meet your friends. And also decision making becomes easier because you're a team. You're friends. You're supportive of each other. So it is easy to rally behind a common goal. And with that, the levels of stress will not rise because you're not pushing each other in different directions. And you spend more time together. You have lunch together. You have tea together. So you talk. And if there is anything stresses you, if there is any challenge, you're able to share. And therefore, people will let out because they talk with one another in an environment that understands them. People are probably going through the same pressures. So once you talk about them, then you're able to deal or to have support. Also, individuals need to be able to identify and order their priorities. You know, you have work, but you know which work is urgent but not important. You know which work is urgent and important. You know which work is important but not urgent. And then there is that one which is not important and also not urgent. So please know your priorities and order them according to how important things are and how urgent they are, and then be able to stick within the boundaries that you have set and to communicate about how you will be able to handle this work. Of course, be able to take off time and rejuvenate. This is a matter of your life and your well-being. And your workplace needs you when you're well. You have to be well to be able to perform. You know, your employees need to be healthy. So if they stay until they break down, then we'll have many sick leaves and probably insurance costs and everything which will fall on the organization. So why not help your staff to be able to identify when they are not well, when they are feeling under pressure, when they need a break? That's why there is annual leave that is, mandatory for every employee. That is why there is sick leave. That's why all these statutory obligations to the employer are there, because human beings are human beings. There are times when they need a break, when they need to rejuvenate. And if ever it is out of hand, don't shy away from seeking medical advice, because stress can lead to depression and so many other challenges. So seeking, visiting a counselor, visiting a psychiatrist is strength. It's not weakness. Yeah, because you're taking care of your well-being. Of course, the day-to-day, taking breaks, exercising, feeding yourself well, grooming your body, loving yourself every day of your life, being excited about who you are, about your day, being excited about the people around you, all those work to help you avoid stress and breakdown. Most especially at the end of the year, because you're going to be spending so much time with people and around people. So please make sure you cultivate enjoying the people in your life, the people at work, and also the people in your family.
Yeah, in addition, there is prayer and meditation. Yes.
And remember, this is about you and about your well-being. So please look out for yourself and your well-being in this season and in every season of your life. Before you expect your employer, your family, your wife, your husband to do anything about your well-being, please look out for your well-being, keep yourself safe, and enjoy a good season. And we'll be having more of these in-depth conversations. So please don't forget to subscribe. Click the button below.